Welcome back to part 3 of figured bass. So let's build off of what we discussed last time with the different types of seventh chords. So the major minor seventh, the minor minor seventh, the half diminished seventh, and the fully diminished seventh. So the context, we have to understand where these chords actually appear based on the scale degrees. And I'm going to do a whole nother video on the harmonic minor scale because that's really where you might wonder why is it called the harmonic minor scale, because basically there are three types of minor scales, right? There's the natural minor, the harmonic minor, which has the augmented second at the top, and then we have the melodic minor, which changes ascending and descending. So we have lots of different possibilities when we come to building triads and especially seventh chords off of those. So we have to kind of see in what context do these harmonies actually appear. So I chose G because it's the dominant of C, and so it's kind of the simplest major minor seventh. But with the other ones, we would see a G minor minor seventh. The minor minor seventh is often going to appear as the 4-7. Now, obviously, 4 is only minor in the minor mode, right? If we look back at our scale up here, 4 is major if the tonic is major. So the only time this is going to be true is if the tonic is minor also. So if G minor minor 7 is minor, we might see that in the key of D minor. Sometimes you might see it as the sad 5 7 in the key of C. So C minor, we'd see a G in different contexts. It's a little bit less common than the 4-7. Half diminished 7. We would see this as the 2 half diminished 7 or the 7 half diminished 7. So for instance, in the key of F, if we see a seventh chord, so what this means, if we see that we're in the key of F minor and the 7 is indicated underneath the G here, we're most likely we're going to have a G half diminished 7 chord that we're going to automatically build on it based on the key that we're in. A flat minor, same thing, 7 half diminished 7, because G is the leading tone of A flat minor. 2 is more common, much more common. But fully diminished, this is interchangeable with the dominant function within harmonic structure. A lot of times you'll see the 7, fully diminished 7, interchangeable with 5-7. Not, of course, in this case, 5-7 and 7-7 are not the same because we're in different keys here, but in the key of A flat, G fully diminished 7 is going to be 7. All right, so let's move on now to some notation. So we're in the key of B minor here. With the exercises that I've provided, which we're kind of coming to the end now, so I think we'll just do the 3 videos, unless there's something else that that you need help with. But with the worksheets, I don't include the key. It's up to you kind of to determine based on the key signature. And as you're probably aware, it could mean either in this case, it could be either D major or B minor, the relative major and minor keys. And with a little bit of experience, it's pretty easy to tell which it is. I mean, it almost always starts and ends with whatever tonic it is. So if we were to start with a D here, of course, this is not an actual piece of music, so don't use this as an example of what you would actually see in a piece of music, because you would never actually see it start on the 7 diminished chord like this. But if it were to start on D, if the first chord were D, then it would be clearly in the key of D major, whereas if the first chord were on B, it would be B minor. So just as a heads up for the exercises on the worksheets that I've provided. So in the key of B, if we were to see this note, A sharp with a 7, then we would know that we're building a 7th chord using A sharp as the bottom note, stacking thirds. What this would end up giving us is a 7 fully diminished 7th chord. Now, what kind of gets a little bit confusing at first is when we come into inverted 7th chords, and so we're going to take a look here. If we were to take the bottom note, move it on top, and move everything an octave down, just so it's a little bit more, well, I guess it's one ledger above or below either way, so I guess it doesn't really matter in this case. But this is a first inversion, 7 fully diminished 7th chord. And the way that we would know this is we see a C sharp, right, based on the key signature. It's a sharp 6-5, so we would raise the note that's a sixth above the bass, which is A sharp, and then we would build a 5 and a 3 above that, and we would end up with our first inversion. So the least common of the 7th chords, well, the least common is the major 7 because it never occurs, but the one that does occur, that occurs the least, is the minor 7th. And as we looked up here, the most often it's going to occur on the 4th scale degree. So we see that here in the key of B minor. We'd most likely see it on E. It's kind of shifted over here, so you'll have to kind of use your imagination. The 7th here applies here, the 4-3 here, 7 here, and the 4-2 to the last one. So so here's our root position chord. We're stacking thirds based on E, and we end up with our E minor 7th chord. I wanted to use a different inversion just to show you if you were to see this 4-3 underneath a B, what that would tell us is, you remember that if we go back to our notation key up here, so 4-3 is actually a 6-4-3. We're just omitting it because there's always a 6th in the inversions. So down here when we see a 4-3, we assume that we're actually first going to a 6th. So we add our 6th, then we add our 4, and then our 3. Okay, so still the same chord, just it's our second inversion. See a 7 under this note, and if you recall that the 7th chord that naturally occurs on the 2nd scale degree is the half diminished in the minor mode. So if we stack thirds, we end up with this C sharp half diminished 7 chord. Right. And then the 4-2 over here, just like up above, we assume the 6th. We add the 6th, and then we add the 4, and then we add the 2. So that gives us our third inversion, 2 half diminished. Okay, so we've covered a lot. Please offer your input if I covered everything too quickly, if there was something that I missed as far as notation, if you caught an error somewhere. I'd be happy to clarify, maybe do a sequel. Right now it's a perfect trilogy, but I'm happy adjusting that. So again, there's a printable PDF worksheet with the solutions and the Buxtehude sonata for your practice. So I hope this helped. Please like this video and subscribe to support my channel to help me work through the YouTube algorithm and all that. And I will see you next time.